and we'll see it over here for live. Like I said, we'll just doing it live. I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We're here there we are.
Oh,
hey.
Okay. Crap, someone's coming by my shop in a little while.
Hey,
Anyways.
they're gonna bother us here in just a minute. The door's locked. We're good.
Door's locked. Well, it's actually my stepdaughter coming. Anyways, welcome to a Saturday random live stream we're doing. Me and Brett, I rocked out a couple of videos because, well, we've been working too much, and he's been helping organize everything. I bring this up in some of the other live shows on Thursdays that I've been working towards organizing the business so it requires less time, which means you have to put more process in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's any business, you should do it like that. You need to go and make more and more processes available. So what Brett has actually been you've seen him in some of the business videos if you follow this channel, and he's been helping develop all those processes. So we also thought we'd make something fun here this Saturday because I didn't feel like editing another video. So you just do it live and let it all be raw.
Yeah, I like raw. Raw's good.
Raw's good. So this is just a raw video Q&A, what it's like to work at Lawrence Systems. Mm-hmm. And you guys can ask questions too, but me and Brett are just kind of going to go over stuff, and I'm going to ask him a few questions. But so one of the first things I want to bring up right off the rip. So Brett does not come from an IT background, which is actually important. No. He's a process-oriented guy, so he develops processes for business, and this is where you have to put processes around it. But we have to teach Brett like how hard it is to wrangle IT. So how scared are you now of IT compared to where you were before?
Well, it was funny. I was having a conversation with someone. They were over at my studio doing some voice recording, and it is interesting because when I build a process, I don't like to build a process that I don't know how it's going to work. Well, that means I actually have to do the process. With not having a background in IT and not having the ability to actually back up just a second. Sometimes when I'm having a conversation with Tom, I don't think he realizes, but some of those words do go over my head. They really do, Tom. And so one of the things that I've had to do is immerse myself into Lawrence Systems. And what is Lawrence Systems, and how does Tom want it to run? Because my job as a consultant in helping people build processes isn't to change how the business owner wants things done. It's to help them organize it so it's done the way the business owner wants it done. So I'm developing these processes, immersing myself inside Tom's head and his business, and it's been interesting. I'm just going to say the least.
Well, and then all this is towards some other goals because we have some other expansions we're doing, and it's nothing that is secret. We're working on a plan to resell IT services to other, resell back-end MSP services to other IT companies. That's one of the goals we're working on. I'm not secret about it. It's just the plan is very rough. That's that's the whole point. Right. Yes, he's Chittum Consulting. He is available to hire. So,
yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So that's one of those things. And I actually come from a process background, and I feel that's part of what got my company as far as it is. I worked in the automotive field in IT, but we did if you Google this, or if you've ever been involved in ISO training or a Q1 stuff that Ford has you do, it's very much all about process and procedure and documentation. So that's something I've always been heavy about. On my staff, on my company is documenting it, and that's, like I said, where he's wrapping it around some of the business process documentation, because we have process for this, a process for that. And one of the documents that I'm going to be doing some of the cleanup, a document that we worked on yesterday for this MSP reselling, we're going to share a lot of that documentation of how we do things more on the channel here. So we just make sure the process is clean and concise, because I don't ever want to release inaccurate information.
Well, the one thing that I think that is helpful to understand is Tom is process oriented. Problem is Tom is busy. Tom's business is busy, and so he needs someone like me to come in and extrapolate that stuff from your head, extrapolate some of the information from the other people working here, and put it down on paper. Because a process is good to have, but if it's not on paper, how do you expect anybody else to follow it?
Right. So that's a lot of it, too, is making sure it's documented. And a lot of our documentation is a little bit more hodgepodge together than it should be, because it's here, it's there. So putting someone at task just to put it in place helps us dramatically. That's a huge feature.
You mentioned me being scared.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I started off on that conversation about, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that was over at my house this morning, and I was talking about managed IT. And I did a video on this last week about, I can't believe any small business doesn't have someone managing their IT for them, because I've learned in the last month and a half more than I ever thought I would, or more than I think I wanted to, because I don't know if I sleep well at night anymore. Knowing that my phone can be hacked, knowing that my computers can be hacked, knowing that somebody just out of random could find my network at home or my network in my business and go in and wreak havoc. So as I've been learning more about the product you use, SolarWinds, that product, it's been exciting to see how it really does protect small businesses, from being able to back up their systems to being able to actually take and protect their systems. I see Kyle and Eric every day I'm here, and I spend a lot of time, and I spend a whole day here when I'm here, and 2 days a week right now. So I understand it. I'm seeing these guys truly getting in and working and making sure that the people that you already manage on their IT are protected and taken care of. And if something comes up, they're on it like Johnny on the spot. It's incredible.
That's one of those things, and that's what you're seeing is this how you push updates, how you do things. The video I did this morning was on like the MikroTik flaw, and I talked about that. It starts with a misconfigured from the default configuration MikroTik, but there's still a flaw in it. You still have to get those updates out there, and a lot of these people just have all these firewalls and stuff just hanging out in the breeze, and it's just a matter of time. So yeah. Any of the consulting we offer, either me or Brett, depending whether IT consulting or Brett does the business consulting, or we do it together. That's all offered remotely. So that's
absolutely.
I mean, unless you want to buy plane tickets, then we don't mind. As long as you're paying for plane tickets and per diem and my stay and flight, well, then we can talk.
I have a sister that lives in Tasmania, Australia. I'd love to visit.
Yeah.
So. And Tom would love to be with me when we do that.
Yeah. Australia seems nice.
Yes.
So. I heard it's warmer there.
It is much warmer, at least right now. It's their summer.
Is there summer? Oh, yes, that's right, summer there.
Yes,
so it's super hot there.
Yes.
Yeah, but these are all those things that Brett's getting that insight on there. And the other side of this, this is something I have no solution for, that we're looking at, like big picture stuff. And I care, and I share a lot of IT information because I want to see the market get better. I want more people in IT that are better at it, that are more concerned about security. That's why I talk about it so much. But the other side of it too is I feel terrible for all these small businesses, because we take over IT company, like IT takeovers for small businesses. It's a disaster, and they are just and they don't realize how insecure everything is. Hey, awesome. Thank you, Magnus. I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and say your last name. Thanks for a great channel. Keep it going. Here's some money for hot sauce. Yes.
It's Tornquist.
Yes.
I'm going to say...
Tornquist?
Tornquist.
Okay.
Did we say it right? That's all we want to know. Tornquist. Thank you very much. The consulting thing I'm looking at, I'm actually reading on here. What's up? What did I miss? I'm looking at you. I noticed when you do your vlog Thursday and stuff, you're actually looking and answering in real time.
Yeah.
We can bring you to South Carolina. Actually, there's some good baseball in South Carolina. That's what I've heard.
He's in the baseball.
I coach baseball.
He
so
coaches.
That's one of the other things I do as well.
So this is one of those things. Like I like to give away a lot of knowledge, but I also feel terrible for these small businesses because they've dealt with so many things, and it's really, really hard for a small business to vet an IT company because you don't know how bad they are until there's a problem. And the IT company can maintain. Maintaining stuff is the easiest. Once it's all set up, it's so to speak on autopilot. That's great. Unfortunately, that's not the case. A lot of things don't auto-update. A lot of things don't auto-patch, and that's where everything starts to go wrong. So I'm always thinking about that. So we're trying to create more knowledge out there. I do some local talks, and I always say they're not just to hire me. They're talks for small businesses, like how you can vet your IT guy. Because this is, IT gal, IT company, whatever they are, they need to be vetted. They need to be confirmed. Are they good at what they do, or are they not good at what they do? And you never really, like I said, you never really know until it hits the fan, and then you're like, oh boy.
That's funny. What do we got over here?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm pulling up. Pulls up. All right.
All right, there we go.
Well, I told my stepdaughter to come here in about a half hour or less to get stuff.
We got to make sure, because we've locked the door so we could do this and not get interrupted.
Get interrupted. They wanted to get some, my My stepdaughter wants some computer parts, her and her fiance, so they're stopping by. Anyways, enough off topicness.
Well, Tom brought me. I think Tom wants me to be able to reveal what it's like to be here, what it's like to work here. So
Yeah.
what are some questions on that?
Yeah, questions on that. So, so the reality of working here is
The Charleston River Dogs. There we go. I like that.
Owned by Bill Murray.
I love it. Yes, I've heard of them. Yeah, that's a good organization. Actually, I love it.
I guess one of the questions is, how is would you categorize our work environment as fun? And that's why I posted the hot sauce wall. So do we have maybe too much fun? Do we screw around too much?
I will tell you that. Well, it's interesting because I've gotten to see the pattern of each person actually that works here, and Tom has put together a pretty high caliber group of people. But when you get that high caliber group of people, once in a while, fun just breaks out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll be sitting there working on something, and all of a sudden I hear some laughter from the kitchen room area, and I walk in and they're putting another sauce up on the firewall that you guys see there, or they're talking about something that happened totally and completely unrelated to work, which I think that's important when you think about some of the stuff that I've done with some of the other businesses I worked with employee engagement and customer experience. His employees are engaged because they know how to have fun here at work. Yes, IT is a stressful thing. Cybersecurity can ruin and destroy a business, but these guys know what they're doing and they're having fun doing it and helping people out.
Yeah, and so I see Mike here pointing out you have to laugh at the IT world or you're burnt out, and that's absolutely a problem in our industry. Me and some of my other friends that don't work here, but other IT friends I have that work at high-level jobs of IT, high-level positions where they're in DevOps and security. It's a very stressful job. Mm-hmm. One of my friends is he's one of the security people for Dynatrace. Might have heard of him. Yep. So. He was here, and it's like we talk about kind of offline, have a beer, talk about our job stresses. This is also why we put together like DC 313, which is a hacker meetup that we're doing, we kind of it's to let other people know it's kind of like counseling. It's pizza, beer, counseling, because it's just problems we all run into with IT. It's good to talk about that.
Can I talk about my amazement in that evening because I was here? I've never seen somebody get through a firewall and break into a camera in 30 seconds or less. I'm just going to tell you, that was amazing to see that happen. So if you think you're safe out there without having anybody making sure you're safe, you're wrong. You are really wrong. That there made me spend some money on making sure that my stuff was safe too. And I think out there in the real world, okay, let's talk about real world here. People are getting hacked every single day. Businesses, people are getting compromised. We're all sick of identity theft. We're sick of people stealing our information, but companies aren't doing things to stop it. Tom and you guys are helping to work that through.
And Brett has a fair question over here. Brett Lovell says, I work for an MSP in healthcare. How do I convince them to move forward with SonicWall and PFSense? So I'm hoping we can record this. There's going to be an event coming up, a conference that I'm going to be at, and one of the panels we're going to do is being a junior, how you can be a better sysadmin. So I have some veteran, older sysadmin people that will be up on the panel, myself included, and we'll talk about how you sell things to management. Mm-hmm. Part of the thing is with SonicWall, I'm actually kind of surprised you guys are using SonicWall. SonicWall to PFSense shouldn't be too hard of a sell, but if they were using something like Cisco or Meraki, because they check a lot of boxes that make auditors happy, because, for example, FortiGate and some of those large, well-paid-for companies will offer guarantees that you can't get from PFSense. Mm-hmm. So there's not that it's a hard sell to switch them now. Shocked they're using SonicWall, but somebody likes it there would be my guess. And the problem with open source sometimes is they're going to ask for some guarantees that you may not be able to get with the PFSense people. In terms of, I think it's a solid firewall. It's not about that. It's not about a security thing. Sometimes in some environments, when you're dealing with the C-level, when you're dealing with large corporate entities, they want some company to give some type of guarantee in writing. And companies like Cisco can do guarantees because they have a team of lawyers to make that guarantee good, so to speak. So there's not an easy answer for how to sell it there, but I'm surprised you guys are using SonicWall. Sorry about the flickering. Nothing I can do. My video card does that sometimes. Welcome to OBS on Linux. Nothing I can do to fix that.
I didn't notice the flickering.
They yeah. Yeah, they see it on their side. I know what they're saying.
People at home are being hacked and don't know it. So true.
Yes. So
have you ever had your light shut off automatically?
Yeah.
I have.
So something I'm gonna. Oh, I got my face in the way.
Uh-oh.
Oh well, I won't. Anyways, I'll do some videos on that another time. I was gonna show you Shodan, but I don't feel like moving the way the camera's overlaid on OBS. I bought I have a full version of Shodan for if you ever want to dig into things about showing how many people have been hacked and how many things are out there. Spend some time on Shodan and only get more and more worried. So, do I have any InfoSec? No. I do not have any certs. I do hire people as needed that do have certs because sometimes they're required. So it isn't really. It's not a requirement, but if it's a requirement for a contractor that we get, then I will bring a contractor in that's certified kind of as needed. Myself, I have none. I've just been working in IT since my first IT job was in 1995. So there. Never heard of fiber store switches. But yeah, I'm not big. I think certs are important. There are sometimes ways that companies filter jobs. You may have to get a certification whether you have belief in it or not. But they're not the absolute end-all for things. So you have to have a passion for IT. Certifications, though, do help when you're getting hired. There's no question about that. What else should we ask? What else were you...
Well, I mean, I think one of the things when we were talking, it was about what am I getting out of this? What am I seeing when I come in here? And although there has been some fear and some sleepless nights in my life because of wondering if things were secure, I've also realized that it can be a simple fix for security. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It doesn't have to take $1 million to secure your data or anything within your own network. It's simple, and people just need to take the time and have somebody like Tom. Or have anybody that does that, work with them and walk them through the process of securing their stuff. One of the things I've been doing is making phone calls and actually talking with some of the clients here at Lawrence Systems and seeing that, showing them the benefit of having a managed IT service. And it's incredible to see people light up a little bit when they realize how affordable it is, and also how easy it is. I asked Tom when I first started looking into the process, so if I get somebody right now signed up, what happens next? He goes, oh, they're on and ready to go within 15 to 20 minutes. I was shocked. It was, am I right? It was I was shocked.
Yeah. So some of our things, and this is stuff we're going to make in a more concise manner for the general public, but our onboarding process is pretty tight. We get people onboarded very quickly. One of those tricks to onboarding people quickly, I dropped in here, Screen Connect, ConnectWise. I've done videos on this. That's one of the tools that we use that helps us with our MSP side in onboarding. And I'm going to be doing, now that it's 2019, I'm going to be redoing like the list of software that we use here at Lawrence Systems, like our whole stack of software. A lot of people ask, and there's so many different programs out there. It can be really difficult to choose one. We've curated a lot of good ones, but I will throw this out there. This stuff, people who want to start a one-man show, it's hard. It's hard to do. But what we want to help do to mitigate that and to make it easier, that's why our plan is to start selling these services, selling a back-end MSP management plan where you as an IT person can be the front end of all that. And that's kind of the plan. So basically, if you're a small IT company, but you want access to some of those bigger tools, but you go, man, I can't meet those endpoint minimums and I can't do this. Also, learning the tools and managing them is really hard. So our plan is to be able to offer those services for a reasonable fee where you'll contract it to us. We're invisible to your customer, and you can take care of the front end. So you're always the front line of the customer. We never engage with them, but then you get access to a lot of those tools, the same tools, so you can actually do a good job of protecting your clients and have us as backup, someone you can talk to go, hey, help me with this problem or help me with this project. That way you're always the front line in front of your customers and that, but that requires a lot of business
Right.
process development because we've only ever done this for ourselves. So I need people like Brett to help me from the outside to develop these processes to make them very concise. I know how to do all the IT side of it. That part's easy for me, but making sure it's a clear business process.
Well, when you're bringing other people on to do the back end for them, that's important so they understand what you're going to be doing.
There's a Snipe It IT software. Never used it. It's supposed to be good for asset management. We do asset management with SolarWinds. Most all of our clients are Windows.
Right.
We don't have many people. I do projects on Linux, but I don't have a lot of managed Linux clients, just so you know. Yeah, kind of like a master MSP. That would be a good way to describe some of the way we're going to do some of that. So, but like I said, giving you some of that access to the tools and things like that, I think would be very helpful. Because like people go, well, I don't want to sign up for SolarWinds. They have this much minimum, or like Huntress Labs, the minimum sign up is 100, I think 100 or 200 workstations with 100.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah. So you have a minimum sign up of there. How did I mitigate the vulnerability in what vulnerability in Screen Connect? So I guess you have to be more specific. What's the CVE number? Give me the CVE. That's how I can tell you how I mitigated it. So, actually, let's talk real quick about security because someone's already commented on one of the YouTube videos I uploaded. Anytime, and someone did this with Screen Connect, they messaged me. One, if you know about a vulnerability, you don't just email the people. There's process and procedures you do.
Right.
It gets documented. There's a CVE process. Maybe I'll do a video specifically on how you go through and mitigate security problems. Two, you can't really ask me generic questions and expect me to do anything like yes as a answer. I'm not being a smartass, but when you say things like, how'd you mitigate the security problem? What CV? Give me the CV. What's the security flaw that I had to get around that you're referring to? Because some people do that. It's like oh, PFSense was hacked last week. Really? I had no idea what hack happened. What's the vulnerability? What's the assessment? That's how we went. Because I'll tell you how I mitigated it, and I don't mind. But if you start asking these very generic questions, it's very difficult for me to answer in anything that doesn't sound snarky.
I have found, though, that you don't sound as snarky as some people I've met in your space.
Yeah. That's an employee training thing too, because I will admit, many of the people that work for me, they really want to be snarky. That is the default position in IT.
You know what I've learned though is some of those people I've been able to slam while I'm here. I love it. I've been able to make them quiet. I've shut them up just by stupid things I say because I haven't. I'm learning IT. You're reading through this. I'm learning the IT space. I come from years of experience in owning my own business, but I was in the insurance space, in the training and development space. So to come in here and look at what it really takes, I was good enough to actually plug in my network and make it work by luck, I think, before I came here. But having guys like Tom and the people he has working for him, I think my IQ goes up every time I come into this place.
I'm trying to find. I'm curious.
He's looking for the
yeah, because you threw and you're once again not a Screen Connect problem. So here's and this is an example where people conflate security. Whoever posted that, Dane Cook snarky. Shell shock. And that's what I was trying to remember. It was something different, but the only thing I can even find, even on Screen Connect's vlog, is CVE 2014-6271. I'll actually drop the CV in so you guys can read it. So what you're conflating here is if you're running Screen Connect on a Linux server and there's a shell shock flaw on that Linux server, it's not a Screen Connect flaw at all. It's a Screen Connect running on a Linux server. So, the CV. So this is this one.
Oh, there we go.
All right, now we have a CVE.
He's gonna look this up. This is what amazes me about Tom and they just continue to amaze me. He finds it so fast. Hold on.
So I did a video on this. That I seen the link here. I'll drag it over. Well, I already clicked it, so it doesn't matter. I did a video on this, and this is completely not Screen Connect. So you've made a mistake. If you read, this is a specific vulnerability if you're using Kaseya combined with ConnectWise with an out-of-date connector that was revoked that some people continue to use in self-hosted versions. So I did a video on this. One, not a Screen Connect at all issue. It is specifically a ConnectWise with a plugin that connects to Kaseya, integrates with ConnectWise, that everyone has been told many times not to use. It was deprecated. Well, the CV's from 2017, and this is the flaw. I did a video on this particular CV. Matter of fact, I think if I search for it, my video comes up because I covered this in the...
Was this the one you were talking about, the one guy that had 80 of his customers hacked because of this? Okay.
This is the one that led to the customer hack. So it has nothing to do with that. And this is, like I said, this is why it's also really important. Here we go. There's even a tweet for it. I'm going to drag it just so you guys can view off to the side here.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and as I said, it's completely a way that someone could push data into the Kaseya VSA. And if you just look up Kaseya hack, my videos come up because Kaseya has had some problems before. One of the reasons I don't really trust Kaseya is the back end. And this also comes back to the decision-making problem you have as an IT company trying to pick which software you're going to use. You're like, what software do I use? And you're like, oh, look, Kaseya's got a great price. Google a little bit. You'll find that Kaseya's had a couple flaws in it. Now, this particular flaw was not Kaseya's exactly. I think Kaseya should have done a better job blocking it. What they didn't, and certainly ConnectWise told all the people quit using this plugin, but when people hosting themselves, they don't do it. And something we deal with all the time, and no offense, and I'm not trying to make fun of anyone that has hired me, but I've helped out some IT companies that were way versions behind on their software. So that's something a lot of IT people are terrible about, is updating their own software. I'm like, updating software to me is like an obsession to the nth degree. I keep everything, our full stack, up to date. I nuke and pave things if I think there's a problem. That's because I have so many things backed up. So if I think are a problem, or I think I want to mitigate this, because if you get dirty into details of, there was a CPAN vulnerability related to, and we covered it in our podcast, SMLR, we dove deep into that, but our answer was all the same, nuke and pave. So we rebuilt things based on a flaw that potentially no proven exploits. We still look for those things. So I'm very on top of keeping everything up to date, even during, so I rebooted our, I should have it redundant and I don't, but I rebooted our PFSense during somewhat production hours, so 5 o'clock is production hours for us, to mitigate the Nginx problem. But, no, it's one of those things. I wanted it done right away, and then we pushed it out for our clients. But it's actually a really low risk because it's a memory run over, and it's also not exposed to the greater internet. It's only exposed on management interfaces.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, Lawrence Tech Tips. Yeah, we're not going LTT. There could be some type of copyright problem with our friends at LTT, Linus himself. So
we just had that conversation before we started this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nuke and pave is always the answer, not 42. You're right. That's absolutely right. I get that. I got the reference.
And I don't understand that whatsoever, but maybe I will after this.
Oh, there's a question.
Okay.
How's Brett doing with all the inside references that we have?
I had, before I started, I had hair. The burn marks across the top of my head because of things that are going over it is, but I will tell you, it's been. I believe in active learning. My dad, who was an orthodontist, at 60 years old, passed the bar exam in California because he wanted to continue learning and wanted to. And he's probably sick of being sued and wanted to have some law stuff behind him. But anyways, I like to learn, and I love those references when I start to get them and understand them. It's fun though that Steve likes to pick on me a little bit though when I don't understand the references. But that's okay.
I think I see Emrican Bati. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but some fair points you have here. So how do you compare different alternatives of applications, hardwares, or methodology that works for you? What you prioritize different options? So I get what you're asking here. And one of the things that's important when you're doing these is looking at the company's history of CVEs and what they were. There's times when companies built products based on other things and had a CVE, and then there's why did they design it this way? Why is their default configuration insecure? Any company that releases products with insecure default configurations in more recent times, if the company's 20 years old and you're like, well, back in 1992 they did this. Well, yeah, we were thought differently in 1992 than we do in 2019, but it's one of those things. I look at their history. I look if they have some weird or unusual ways. Security through obscurity drives me nuts, but in companies practice that. This is one of the reasons I lean towards open source. But someone's going to point out, well, you're using Screen Connect and it's not open source. I'm like, please, if you could find a works as good as Screen Connect solution that was open source and well documented, I'd be all over it. Until that day comes, I'm going to keep using that tool because I haven't found a better one. But the security, the response time those companies have, I will say this, like MikroTik, I covered their flaws. I think MikroTik has become more security minded. I think in the past they weren't. Does that mean it makes me want to use your product? No, I tried using your product and I think it's complicated. So complications also make me look at a product. If you design things in a very convoluted way, you've made it harder to secure it. Right. Any company that tried to develop their own security stack and not just use standard protocols for cryptography or standard algorithms for cryptography, like we invented our own cryptography. I run from those. Those are horrible. For example, I use Signal. Signal's completely open source because Signal's completely well documented how the protocol works for security. Then there's Telegram. And I'll quote Bruce Schneier. I'd rather be poked in the eye than try to figure out how that algorithm works. And Bruce Schneier is a well-respected security researcher. So when you start looking at the people, and I look at people as I'm only so smart, I only know so much, and I'm never afraid to reveal where I learned something from. Bruce Schneier is one of those people. I look at what he thinks of products. I look at what Krebs on Security thinks about a product. I read as much as possible, and I look at those people who have are no skin in the game security researchers who cover these. Then you take a look at things like Talos Research and a list of other. Yes, I know Talos is owned by Cisco, but they still do some really solid research. So you kind of dig around. And then when you can find no information, I'm super hesitant to use a product, especially if it's a firewall. OpenSense forked from pfSense. So you asked how I chose pfSense. pfSense is great track record of security. And when I look at OpenSense, not that they have as much a bad security track record, but boy, they have a lot of updates. You know what I don't have time to do? A lot of updates.
Right.
So that's another factor that comes in there. If there's a ton of iterations coming out all the time and you have 300-400 of these deployed, you have 300 or 400 of those to update all the time and keep in sync. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. There's at least somewhat of a process I go through. Maybe I'll do a video on this, like product choices and how you look at them. But sometimes you kind of have to go in blind. I've been using SolarWinds for a long time. They've had a great security track record, but it's still scary to me because I'm hiring SolarWinds to do all this RMM stuff. I'm kind of blind into it. They're a big company, so I hope they do things well. But at some point, you do have to like drop a little trust on there. So there's a little bit of magic in there, I guess you could say.
Well, one thing I've heard you say numerous times about security is best efforts.
Security is all best effort.
It's not guaranteed. There's no guarantee, is there?
Yeah. As soon as someone starts telling me security is they guarantee security, they're full of it.
Right.
Security is best effort.
That's something I learned. I learned that. Someone asked about the hot sauce.
Oh yeah. Do you like the hot sauce?
So I grew up in Southern California, and so I grew up I call it Vadio. I truly enjoy hot sauce. If some of you saw that video of me eating the world's hottest chocolate, that wasn't my best day. I'm just going to say that right now. I think I turned about 10 shades of red. But I do enjoy the hot sauce. Not every day like that, and they truly eat hot sauce every single day. I don't see a time when they're not eating the hot sauce. So I enjoy it, but not as much as them.
Yeah. So that's that for us. Does Unify update like every 2 weeks? So this was interesting, and this was a problem Unify had, and I made a video specifically to talk about it. One of the problems that Unify had was the update did not go as smooth as they wanted. So the fixes, not all for security, they were all for, the database problem here, database problem there. Part of the problem is people not having their systems configured very well. So if you read through the little details, sometimes it was to deal with weird installations or unique installations. But this is where the company, I feel, worked towards that. It's not like they did something that was just totally wrong and broken, like they didn't know what they were doing. They just had some problems with it. And whenever these updates come out for Unify or any of these companies, it's one of those things. Maybe wait a couple days. Wait till people like me or Willie or Chris, we do videos on it because we are also the ones willing to file the bug reports. We're willing to go through, sort out the problem, and do it. So feel free to update there. Yes, it gets stuck at updating when starting for the new Unify video. You're not wrong. That is definitely what happens. And I haven't done a video on that yet, but I will be doing one because I did update to the latest video. So I am running, and I'll even show you guys here. Let me bring it up and drag it over. How do I know about how the update works? Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Good screen. There you go. So you guys can see it. Snowflake moving at. I'm running 3.10.1, and yes, there's some issues in getting it updated. I didn't have time to cover that today about how I mitigated those issues, but the short answer is really a dumb one. I backed up my system, I loaded it again, and I uploaded the config file. I had a couple of people complaining about it. They did no backups before they tried to push updates. I'm like, really? Why would you do that?
Actually, can I tell you something? I knew that. And I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah.
You got to back up before you do any type of change, right?
So you had an AP Pro brick itself. Now, that's something I haven't had happen. Now, I've had some of the APs not update, and I did a quick video on that of how we manually push updates to them when they don't. You just SSH in and grab the file, and it works. That's happened a few times, but I've never had it brick. So that would be a first. None of them to my, and God, we have a ton of these installed. I've seen none of them brick themselves from any of the updates. They've had to be manually reset before and things like that, but none of them actually bricked.
No, not at all.
Weird. Greenbone OpenVAS. Oh, are you asking, do we use? Yeah, Greenbone OpenVAS. Yes. I have Parrot Linux set up with OpenVAS. That's a future video I'm going to do. It's all a matter of getting to all this. But if you want to get started with OpenVAS, I'm going to say one of the easiest ways to do it is it comes integrated in Parrot Linux. So look for the Parrot Linux distribution. So I want to get some videos on the Chittum channel. Yeah, he's working on it.
Who's that?
Whoever Team Rampage is.
I love it. I do have it, but it's in process right now because I'm enjoying being a part of what he's doing because, well, he's doing it right.
Yeah, so it's all fun stuff. We're gonna jump off here though in a couple minutes. So
yeah, because you have something that's going down, so you have to be somewhere.
I got to do stuff with take kids, drive them somewhere, and all that. Which is better, pfSense or OpenSense? pfSense all day, every day. Maybe one day I'll review OpenSense, but any of my friends who have used it, they have not done any videos on it, but they basically call OpenSense a cut-down version of pfSense because pfSense has more features in it. That's what I've been told. Yeah, so... my MSP uses a unified controller at each site instead of the main controller. I don't... Well, so the only time you really want a controller at each customer is going to be when... they're using captive portal and things like that. You may want one at a customer, but overall, I find it easier to do it the way we do it, to have our own controller, with the exception being those clients that need things like captive portal. So I don't have a good reason outside of that reason. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they just want to maintain it that way, or they don't want to deal with having a centralized server for everything. So, the argument can be made for that. Why can I use another VLAN gateway, but I can't ping devices? I want to block access to the gateway also. Well, if you block access to the gateway, they can't get out. So I have some more locking down pfSense videos I'll do that maybe will explain that more in depth. But spend some time in the pfSense forums. They can really dig in and help explain that to you. So that's because you can't just block the gateway. That's the short answer. There's more to it than that. All right, well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, visit us, email us, continue the discussion in the forums. Right. That's always the thing we do. So, why do Blue Iris is okay. I like Unify Video. I like Blue Iris. We're using that for clients. And for some of the even bigger jobs, we use that other company. I can't remember it, but if you flip through my videos enough, you can find it. Or if you drop a message in the forum. Oh, Exact Vision. That's the one, but it's expensive. The other commercial ones that we use. I haven't done a video on them, but we're talking like companies spending $30,000-$40,000 on their camera systems. So I haven't done a video on it because I don't know what level of interest there is in some of those videos. Because it's really, even for the more enterprise people in my IT, until you get to those bigger companies, there's not probably a big interest in some of those systems. They're expensive. They're not cheap at all. So, all right, awesome, and stop.